Hi guys, cinematic recap here. Before we start, warning. Spoilers ahead. Today, I'm gonna explain an American crime drama movie, called Stillwater. Bill Baker is a roughneck in Stillwater, Oklahoma who is looking for a job because he was laid off 6 months ago. One day, he visits his ailing mother-in-law, Sharon, who supports him financially. She then gives some items to bring to his daughter which he is going to visit soon. He then goes to the airport and sees a gold Stillwater necklace in a gift shop. After arriving in Marseille, France, he checks into a hotel, where he cannot sleep for the night because the woman next door plays loud music. Therefore, he goes to the balcony and asks the woman to turn down the music, but she does not listen, saying that she does not speak English. The next day, he puts together a treatment package and visits his daughter, Allison, who is 5 years into serving a 9-year prison sentence. It is revealed that Allison was convicted of killing her roommate and unfaithful lover, Lena, while attending a university in Marseille. During their first meeting, she asks her father to pass a letter to her defense lawyer, Mrs. Leparc, and says it is extremely important. After that, Bill goes to see the lawyer, but she is not available at the moment. He then goes back to his hotel and meets a girl named Maya who is sitting outside the door of the next room. Since she does not have the key to get in, Bill brings her to the front desk and asks for another key for her room. The next morning, he finally finds Leparc and gives Allison's letter to her. After reading it, she tells him that his daughter has exhausted all her legal options. The letter also says that Allison heard from her former professor about a man who claimed to be Lena's killer. However, Leparc refuses to attempt to reopen the case because the new information is just a rumor. At night, the woman next to his room, Virginie, comes over to thank Bill for helping her daughter Maya, even though Bill notices that she can actually speak English. He then asks Virginie to translate the letter, where he learns not only about his daughter's desperation at the sentence, but also about how little faith she has in her father's ability to help with the situation. Afterwards, he visits Allison again in the prison and lies to her, telling her that Leparc will petition the judge to reopen the case. Because he does not want to disappoint his daughter, Bill goes to see other attorneys, but some of them barely speak English. At one point, he ends up meeting a retired police officer, DeRosa, who offers to help him, but for a lot of money. Because of that, Bill scoffs and leaves immediately. Back at the hotel, Bill enlists the help of a hotel staff to look up the professor's information and learns that his name is Patrick Ocanedo. The following day, he goes to the university and meets with the professor. He then gives Bill the phone number of a girl named Saad who claims to know Lena's killer, but she does not speak English either. Because of this, Bill asks the professor to translate for him, but he says that he cannot involved, even though he believes Allison was innocent. After informing Virginie on the situation, the two meet with Saad, who names the killer as Hakim. However, her friend aggressively tells her not to snitch, leaving her speechless. Bill continues to press the girl, but Virginie dissuades them as the situation becomes heated. After that, they head to Calist, where Saad says Hakim lives, but Virginie says that they would be unlikely to talk to him because he is an outsider. Combing through social media, Virginie and her friend print photos of people in the social circles of Allison and Lena. Virginie tells Bill to bring the photos to his daughter as she is the one who can identify Hakim, but he refuses since he does not want to reveal to Allison that Leparc is not working on the case. Bill then remembers that the incident happened at a bar, so he and Virginie meets with the bar owner to ask about Hakim. Unfortunately, Virginie refuses to speak to the man after learning that he is racist towards Middle Eastern immigrants. Bill and Virginie end up fighting because she does not understand how Bill can be okay with it, while he still insists that his job is to get his daughter out of prison. As a result, Virginie tells him that she does not want to help him anymore and leaves him in a rage. Meanwhile, Sharon calls Bill wondering how much Leparc costs now, saying she has spoken to Allison about the lawyer. However, Bill tries to cover it up, so Sharon decides to call Leparc herself. Running out of time, he finally brings the photos to Allison, who identifies Hakim. He then uses the photo to track down Hakim at a housing project, but Bill ends up getting beaten by Hakim's friends after drawing too much attention, while Hakim escapes. After that, Virginie visits him to see how he is doing, and Bill says that he gave up his only chance. The next time he meets Allison, Bill confesses that he lied about Leparc agreeing to help and that he found Hakim, but did not tell the police. Enraged that her father wasted her only chance for exoneration, Allison tells him to never to return to the prison again. 4 months later, Bill has remained in Marseille, working on a construction crew and renting a room in Virginie's apartment. He also spends a lot of time with Virginie and Maya. One time, Leparc suddenly contacts him, telling him that Allison has been approved to be out on parole for a day. Therefore, he wants to use the opportunity to reconnect with her. After picking up Allison on the parole day, Bill takes her to buy flowers and goes to Lena's grave. They also go to a quiet place by the water before going back to the apartment, where Allison meets Virginie and Maya for the first time. After returning Allison to the prison that evening, Bill gets a call from the hospital informing him that his daughter attempted suicide by trying to hang herself. Bill is devastated at the time, but he continues to visit her, so their relationship gets better over time. On the other hand, he and Virginie also establish a closer relationship. Over dinner, Bill thinks that his life is back on track, and the two end up sleeping together for the night. One day, Bill surprises Maya with tickets to a Olympique de Marseille game, which she really loves. They both have a great time at the game, but to his surprise, Bill accidentally spots Hakeem among the crowd. He quickly follows him to a restaurant after the match is finished. Once Maya falls asleep, he approaches Hakeem and knocks him out immediately. He then locks him in the basement of their apartment building where they live. Soon, he pays DeRosa to test a lock of Hakeem's hair against the crime scene's DNA evidence. At one point, Maya confesses to Bill that she knows about the man in the basement, but then he implores Maya to keep the secret, and she eventually agrees. When Bill goes down to check on Hakeem pleads him to let him go, saying that Allison had hired him to kill Lena and that she paid him with a gold necklace bearing the word Stillwater. Because of this, Bill begins to doubt Allison's innocence and calls Sharon to ask if the Stillwater necklace he got for Allison was with her during the trial, but Sharon has no idea what he is talking about. Sometime later, DeRosa suspects that Bill is keeping Hakeem in the basement, so he poses as a building inspector and asks Virginie if she has noticed any smells or noises from the basement, which she denies. When DeRosa leaves, she stares at the basement door because her suspicions are aroused. After picking up Maya from school, Bill returns to the apartment, where police officers suddenly detain him. After a futile search in the basement, the police questions Maya, who lies about not having seen the hostage. After the police officers leave, Virginie reveals that she had released Hakeem after finding him in the basement. However, she demands Bill to move out for endangering her daughter during Hakeem's abduction. He then hugs a crying Maya and says goodbye, before moving back into the hotel. Afterwards, Lepart calls him for a meeting and tells him that the new evidence will allow the case to be reopened, with a DNA test exonerating Allison. However, she is confused by Bill's numb reaction. Not long after, Allison is finally released and gets Lena's name tattooed on her wrist. After Allison and Bill return to Oklahoma with a hero's welcome, Bill asks Allison about the Stillwater necklace that he gave her when she had departed for Marseille. She finally breaks down and admits that she hired Hakeem to evict Lena from their house after they had broken up. However, she claims that she had no intention for killing Lena, as Hakeem misunderstood her intentions to put her out of the apartment. She also asks her father if he hates her, but he says that he could never because she is his daughter. The following morning, the two sit on the porch, where Allison says everything looks exactly the same in Stillwater, while Bill admits everything looks different to him, almost to the point of him not recognizing it anymore. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.